Hello, and welcome to my lab. My name's the Professor, and I love science and experiments and the Bible. Today I was reading the Bible and I came across an amazing story where Jesus stopped a terrifying storm. It was a great story, but I wanted to do some experiments to see for myself what all the fuss was about. In the story, I read that Jesus spoke. He said, "Quiet, be still," to the wind and to the waves. And this massive storm just stopped. It became completely calm and still. So I have made 2 experiments to see if I can do something similar, both here in the lab and out in the garden. I'm going to try to speak to the wind. I'm going to try to speak to the rain and see if I can get them to stop and become completely calm.
Here I am in the pouring rain. Perfect weather for experiment number 1. Jesus said to the rain, "Quiet, be still," and it just stopped. So I'm going to give it a go myself now. Rain, quiet, be still. It's not working. Let me try again. Rain, quiet, be still. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
So here I am on a super windy day for experiment number 2. I'm going to try to tell the wind to stop. Quiet! Be still! Quiet! Be still! Wow! I just don't get it. I did everything exactly right. I did it just the way Jesus did, and I tried my absolute hardest. But no matter how hard I tried, it just wouldn't work. But what's different about Jesus? Who is this man that he has complete control over the weather? He seems to have control over everything. Maybe I need to go back and read the Bible story one more time. Hello, and welcome to Sunday Stories for Families. This week we're continuing our true story from the book of Mark. It's in the Bible, and it's about Jesus. This week we're looking at Mark chapter 4, starting at verse 35. If you've got a Bible at home, go and get it so that you can follow along with me. If not, don't worry. You can read from the screen behind me. Mark chapter 4, starting at verse 35. That evening, Jesus said to his followers, "Come with me across the lake." He and the followers left the people there. They went in the boat that Jesus was already sitting in. There were also other boats with them. A very strong wind came up on the lake. The waves began coming over the sides and into the boat. It was almost full of water. Jesus was at the back of the boat, sleeping with his head on a pillow. The followers went to him and woke him. They said, "Teacher, do you care about us? We will drown." Jesus stood up and commanded the wind and the waves to stop. He said, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind stopped and the lake became calm. Jesus said to his followers, "Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The followers were very afraid and asked each other, "What kind of man is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him."
Hello, hello. We're going to sing a song about Jesus. Do you know who Jesus is? He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the Son of God, and we're going to praise him as we sing this song together. He's the King of Kings, he's the Lord of Lords. He can heal the sick, he can calm the storm. He's the Son of God, he can save us from sin, and he calls us to follow him. You know what? I actually think this song would be better if we had have someone playing piano and maybe singing along with us. So, hey Philip,
Hey.
why don't you join us?
Love to.
Oh, I should probably move over.
Yeah, just a little bit more.
Some more room? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Thanks. Shall we sing?
1, 2, 3, 4. He's the King of Kings, he's the Lord of Lords. He can heal the sick, he can calm the storm. He's the Son of God, he can save us from sin, and he calls us to follow him. Jesus met a man covered in disease, knew he needed to be clean. Jesus just touched him, the disease was gone.
Only God could do that.
Who is this man? He's the King of Kings, he's the Lord of Lords. He can heal the sick, he can calm the storm. He's the Son of God, he can save us from sin, and he calls us to follow him. Jesus and his friends caught in a storm, looking like they're gonna drown. Jesus yelled, quiet! The storm was calm.
Only God can do that.
Who is this man? He's the King of Kings, he's the Lord of Lords. He can heal the sick, he can calm the storm. He's the Son of God, he can save us from sin, and he calls us to follow him. Jesus on a cross was crucified, darkness covered all the land. And after 3 days, Jesus rose again.
Only God could do that.
Who is this man? He's the King of Kings, he's the Lord of Lords. He can heal the sick, he can calm the storm. He's the Son of God, he can save us from sin, and he calls us to follow him. Yes, he calls us to follow him, and he calls us to follow him.
In our story today, Jesus' friends were terrified. Can you remember what they were scared of? Jesus' friends were scared because they were in a boat in the middle of a massive lake. And all of a sudden a powerful wind came out of nowhere, and they thought they were going to drown. Let's go back to the beginning of the story though. It was getting late, it was already evening, and Jesus had been teaching a large crowd for a long time, so he was really tired. So he told his friends that it was time to leave the crowds and travel to the other side of the lake. There were other boats with them, and Jesus, tired from the busy day, fell asleep on a cushion in the back of the boat. But very suddenly, a great wind came. It made massive waves, and they were crashing over the side of the boat. Jesus' friends were terrified. In verse 40, Jesus asked them, "Why are you so afraid?" They were really scared. And this is a big deal because at least 3 of Jesus' friends were fishermen. They lived on this lake. They spent time on this lake. They worked on this lake. They knew it like the back of their hand. And when they saw these waves, when they saw this wind, they were scared they were going to die. They were scared they were going to drown. And they ran to Jesus whilst he was sleeping on his cushion and shouted, "Don't you care if we drown?" The waves were so big, they were breaking over the side of the boat. These waves were massive. I'm going to do a little experiment now, just so that we can see quite how big these waves must have been.
Hello, I'm here in our bathroom and I have this little red boat that I made out of paper. You can make one too, you just have to find the activity sheet on our website. I'm going to put this little red boat into our bath and I'm going to try and make waves big enough to crash over the side of this little red boat.
I'm going to use this flimsy chopping board that I found in the kitchen. So if we make little waves, do you see? It's not enough to crash over the side of the boat. It's not even that much to affect the boat, really. So let's try bigger waves. Let's see. If I go like this, those are bigger waves, aren't they? But they're still not big enough. I need to go bigger. Even now, they're not big enough to crash over the side of the boat. Now they are. But look how big the waves were to crash over the side of the boat. And that's just this tiny little boat. Imagine how big the waves had to be to crash over the side of the boat that Jesus and his friends were in. So back to our story. Jesus' friends were terrified with these massive waves. They went to Jesus and they shouted at him, "Don't you care if we drown?" And then Jesus stands up. But he doesn't grab a bucket to start throwing out water. He doesn't even stand up and tell the disciples what to do, giving out helpful instructions. No, he stands up and he turns to the wind and he turns to the waves and he speaks to them. He says, "Quiet, be still," like you tell off a dog. And can you remember what happened? The wind and the waves, they just stopped. The wind died down and it became completely calm. Do you remember what happened when the professor tried to tell the weather what to do? Absolutely nothing. But when Jesus tells the weather what to do, it listens to him and it obeys. You see, Jesus is a human, just like you, just like me, who gets tired after a long day of teaching a crowd. But Jesus is also God himself, the creator of everything around us, the creator of the universe, who has complete control over everything that happens in this world. And when Jesus' friends see what Jesus has done, they become scared, not of the wind and the waves, but they become scared of Jesus. It makes sense, right? Their friend has just spoken to the wind. He's spoken to the waves, turning a situation that terrified even the local fishermen into one of complete peace and complete calm in an instant, just by speaking. This is what verse 41 says. Jesus' friends were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." They were terrified of Jesus, their friend, because they're starting to realize that he's not just a special person. He's not just a good teacher, but that Jesus was God himself. But Jesus didn't say to his friends in verse 40, "Why are you so afraid of this weather? You should be afraid of me." No, Jesus doesn't want us to be scared of him. He didn't say that. He said, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" He was asking, "Why are you so afraid? Do you not trust me?" That's what Jesus means here when he asks, "Do you still have no faith?" He's asking, "Do you not trust me?" You see, Jesus is God himself, the creator of all things. All things are under his control. All of creation is under his power. He can just speak to the weather and it changes for him. Only God can do that. And if you're a Christian, Jesus, who is still alive now, who is King in heaven and King over the whole world, he still has complete control. He still has complete power over everything in this world. That means we don't have to be scared of anything, because Jesus is King. He loves us, and he is God. He has power over creation. Jesus can be trusted because he has complete power over this world. Well, thanks so much for joining us this week at Sunday Stories for Families. There's some questions in the description below that I really encourage you to go through with your family or the people around you. I think they'll really help you dig deeper into this story. It's been great to have you with us though, and I can't wait to see you next week at Sunday Stories for Families. Goodbye!